Hey guys, happy holidays. It's almost the end of the year, so I wanted to cover some skincare products that are my personal greatest of all time. All of the products on this list are ones that I've used for at least 3 years, more or less continuously. Most of them are actually hitting like the 4, 5, 6 year mark, and I still love them just as much as I did in the beginning. There are a couple of reformulated products. In order for a reformulation to be on this list, the performance has to be substantially the same as the original product that I loved. So obviously the effects, but also the user experience, like the texture, the smell has to be pretty much the same. In the new year, we will cover some of my more exciting recent discoveries that will probably make it onto these lists in future years, so let's go. I've been using my greatest of all time facial cleansers since 2017 and since 2020, but before I show those, a real quick intro. I saw a reel the other day, and the creator was saying that typically a cleanser needs to have a pH of between 8 and 10 in order to have cleansing properties. And I was like, no, it doesn't. Like, sure, if you're looking for true soaps that are going to tear up your skin barrier, but these days there are plenty of surfactants that are designed to effectively cleanse at lower pH levels, like 7, which is neutral, or below, and there's plenty of research that shows that that's better for your skin barrier anyway. So instead of tearing up my skin barrier with a high pH cleanser, my pick is the 107 Shaga Jelly Low pH Cleanser, which is pH 5.5, which is pretty optimal. It's a super gentle gel cleanser. It's very slippery, so when I massage it around, I also avoid the irritation and the redness that comes from rubbing and tugging on skin. And it has little soft green tea bits in it, which is nice for like the mildest exfoliation, just to get rid of little dead skin flakies and stuff like that. And when I need to remove sunscreen or makeup, which is where a lot of people will choose a really harsh high pH cleanser, instead of doing that, I just double cleanse, and my pick for years and years has been the Hada Labo cleansing oil. It's just a really basic, budget-friendly, effective cleansing oil. It gets the job done. It costs less than $15 for me, even on Amazon, and that's like, Amazon markup anyway. And I've used that since 2017. So those are my picks. Continuing with my greatest of all time skincare series, the second product is a moisturizer that I've loved since 2016 for slugging. So if you don't know, the practice of slugging has been around since at least the mid 2010s. It just refers to the use of a very heavy, usually mineral oil or petroleum based moisturizer as the last step in your skincare routine. The idea is to use something very occlusive, like petroleum or mineral oil, to seal in as much of the hydration from your skincare routine and from your skin as possible to prevent moisture loss overnight. So it's really good when you have very dehydrated skin, you have a damaged moisture barrier, and you really, really need that extra help. Most people will use something like Vaseline because that is just petroleum jelly, and the mineral oil and petroleum molecule is very large. It doesn't penetrate into pores, so it's unlikely to clog pores, and it's very, very hydrophobic, so it traps a lot of hydration in your skin. I'm not going to bed with Vaseline on my face. That's a really good way to wake up sticky and covered in my own hair and covered in the cat's hair. So instead, I use Vanillico Miss Flower and Mr. Honey Cream, which does contain petroleum, so it does have that really nice occlusive effect. It's heavy enough for slugging, but it's like a beautiful fancy Vaseline. It also includes honey extracts, royal jelly extracts, propolis extracts, and a lot of other very healing extracts to like soothe and brighten and reduce redness and just leave my skin looking and feeling way healthier in the morning. And it dries down. So it's not sticky, it's not gross feeling, it just feels really beautiful on my face at night. I have cried more in the last couple of weeks than I have in the last few years. And I'm not talking about like a little single classy tear, like little K-drama tear. I'm talking about like full on ugly crying, like hysterical crying multiple times a day, any time of day or night. And I'm not telling you guys this to make you feel sorry for me. I'm fine. Everything is fine. It's getting better. I'm telling you this because it's actually relevant to my greatest of all time skincare series for the eye serum category. So I always knew that I was going to pick Neon's Fractionated Eye Contour Concentrate for this category. I've been using it since 2020. I find it very firming, very tightening, very lifting. It keeps this whole region nice and smooth. And it's very watery, it's not greasy, it doesn't mess with my lash extensions, it's not inherently moisturizing, but it does help to encourage more moisture production in that area. So I always knew that it does have a nice depuffing effect. I didn't realize how strong it was until I started ugly crying all the time, because I remember when I used to cry like this, my eyes would get so swollen, they'd get so puffy, like golf balls, like it would be hard to see out of them, they would be puffy for like days afterwards. It didn't matter if I drank a lot of water or if I drank less water, like that was just guaranteed to happen. And I realized after one of my crying jags the last couple of weeks that my eyes weren't puffy at all. Like, not that day, not the next day. They just weren't swelling up. Thought about it for a while, and I realized that it is because of this serum. So, for that alone, it's my greatest of all time. Continuing with my greatest of all time skincare series, today we're going to talk about beauty sleep. Because I'm 43 and I notice that I can see it more and more in my face when I don't get good enough sleep. I've been using the Solasu's Overnight Vitalizing Mask since 2017, and it's gone through at least one reformulation since then. This version is a little bit lighter and it's a little bit more whipped feeling than the older versions that I started using, but the effects are still so good. I use this as a cheat code when I know I'm not going to get enough sleep, or I've been too tired to put on my full routine, or I know I'm not going to get good quality sleep for whatever reason, whether because I had a drink or something like that, or I'm just stressed out. There's something about the combination of the traditional herbal extracts in this and the other ingredients that, like, it kind of boosts circulation to my skin, and it smooths and firms the outer layers of skin so that when I wake up, I look really fresh, I look really glowy, I look like I got a good night's sleep. So this stuff is greatest of all time for me. And I'm also going to point out my Sleep and Glow Omnia pillow. I've been using these memory foam beauty pillows since 2020. The side cutouts let me sleep on my side without smashing my face up so that I don't end up with sleep wrinkles. We can pretend I didn't make things real weird right there. I wanted to show you without the pillowcase on, the deep side cutouts, and there's also an indentation in the middle to support the head and neck when you're sleeping on your back. So I don't think it's going to surprise anyone here that my greatest skincare of all time list is going to include the COSRX Snail Mucin Essence and Cream, because I've had these in my routine since 2015. They're that good. I never want them to go away. So they both contain a lot of snail mucin, obviously. The immediate effects for me are just hydrating, texture smoothing, creating kind of a calming protective layer on the surface of skin to help prevent more irritation. But that's just the basics. That's just where it starts. The snail essence I think of as my skin rescue product. So if anything goes wrong with my skin, like if I have a breakout, if I get irritation, or even if I get burns, like I'll show you. So I had a few curling iron burns from styling my hair with a new tool. I had one here from like 3 days ago, and I have a couple here. This one is the oldest, but it's also the deepest. I really fucked myself up there. And then one above that. I put the snail on twice a day. The one on my face is already totally healed up, and the ones on my neck, this one is starting to heal up better, and this one is almost all gone too. The snail mucin helps it to heal faster, which is why I say that it gives my skin more resilience. The cream, very similar effects. It is a cream, so it's a little bit more emollient. I think of it as a medium weight moisturizer, but this has amazing, like, fine line smoothing effects for me. I used to use this as my only eye cream because I noticed that when I use it, it looks like my eye area gets like ironed out. It's that good. So I love these forever. Hey guys, let's talk about some more of my picks for greatest skincare products of all time. Today we're going to talk about anti-aging skincare. I'm turning 44 in less than a couple of months, so it's been on my mind. For the last 8 years, I have been using Curology prescription tretinoin pretty much nonstop, at least a few times a week. I started in late 2015. I worked myself up from the lowest prescription strength to the highest. Tretinoin is weapons grade. Unlike OTC retinoids like retinol, it doesn't need to be converted in skin into retinoic acid, which is where those products will lose a lot of potency. It's very, very, very potent, and for me, it does exactly what tretinoin is supposed to do. It drastically increases collagen production, and it drastically increases skin cell turnover. So that compensates for those processes slowing down with age and lets me maintain firmness and smoothness. It also works on hyperpigmentation and dark spots, so it helps me maintain like an even bright skin tone too. This works deep, deep under the surface of skin. For surface layers, I have been using Neod's copper amino isolate serum. Since either 2019 or 2020, I was looking at my emails trying to figure it out, but I couldn't. I always say that I use this to get rid of the little flappy bit under my chin, which is just a nice like shorthand way of explaining that it tightens and firms up the upper outer layers of skin, the really visible layers, to get rid of like crepiness and sagging and sort of those surface level signs of aging. So I also never want to be without this. I can't really talk about my picks for greatest skincare products of all time without talking about acids, because I'm pretty sure that AHAs and BHAs were the first like serious skincare actives that I ever used. So let's talk about acids. I have been using COSRX's BHA Blackhead Power Liquid Since at least 2015, it might actually be 2014. So BHAs are oil-soluble chemical exfoliants that work to like dislodge and loosen the clogs, the oil, the dead skin cells that are in open pores that you can see on your face. I use this just like on my T-zone between here, around here, and here to keep those pores clean so that they look small and they don't get clogged. This is 4% betaine salicylate, which is much gentler than salicylic acid, which you'll see more commonly. So that's why I'm able to use this every day without it being irritating or over exfoliating on my skin. I also use it during my 3-step pore clearing method. So I love this stuff, and one bottle lasts forever because I only use like a drop of it at a time. For AHA, for water soluble, like texture smoothing, texture refining, I use the Ordinary's glycolic acid 7% toning solution. And I love the big bottle because I'll use this on my face once in a while if I need to do some texture refining. But I have also used this as a scalp clarifying treatment, and I love this on body to get rid of ingrown hairs and prevent bumps and things like that. So it's super versatile and it's really, really affordable. So this is great stuff too. I have been using my pick for greatest brightening serum of all time for over 8 years. Since mid-2015, I've been using it since before it was a product that you could actually buy. I have only ever stopped using it if I was in a time when I didn't feel like I needed any kind of brightening, or if I was trying out a different brightening serum that I wanted to compare. And obviously you can't like stack two like that and know which one is doing what. In the time since it has blown up, it spawned a lot of very similar products out of the Reddit skincare and Asian beauty communities, but I have still never found anything that compares. If you've been following me for a while, then you know exactly what I'm going to say. My pick for greatest brightening serum of all time is Holy Snail's Shark Sauce, and it shouldn't be surprising because this product was made to my specs for a perfect brightening serum for me. So it has niacinamide boosted with acetylglucosamine, but it also has licorice root extract, which is one of my favorite herbal brightening ingredients. And it has a base of sea kelp bioferment, which I've always loved seaweed extract as a skincare ingredient because of how it hydrates and creates a really smooth surface texture without leaving any greasiness. It layers beautifully with other products because it's so lightweight. There are other versions that are just as fun and have the same effective base. This is something that makes me so happy still exists, and I hope it always will. I wasn't sure whether I should include this sunscreen in my greatest skincare of all time list because technically this version has only been out for a year and the sunscreen overall has been through so many reformulations over the years, but I love this sunscreen so much and it's so similar to the first sunscreen that I ever loved, and I think it's also the first post on my blog that like really blew up back in 2015, so I felt like I have to include it. It is the Japanese 2023 version of the Biore UV Aqua Rich Watery Essence, which this sunscreen is just incredible. I have an absurd amount of it on my face right now because I always use the 1/4 teaspoon full dosage for face. It's not greasy, there's no white cast, there's no heavy residue. It feels basically like nothing on, and again, that's in like a huge quantity. It is high UVA protection, it's high UVB protection, it's water resistant, which helps because I get really sweaty in yoga classes sometimes and I don't want to have to worry about it all being off before I can get back home. It will probably, God willing, be with us for at least another year. Usually these brands reformulate sunscreens on like a 2-year cycle. So fingers crossed it sticks around because I feel no need for any other sunscreen when I have this. And it comes in bigger than usual tubes, which is helpful.